the new CTE building with regards to the solar need?
It will aid in that. We'll still need to do further, submittals to, I'm gonna say DSA for the lack of knowing possibly the correct acronym, but to, show that we are making good faith effort to be within energy compliance and new construction.
Okay, thank you.
And so, like, with the power purchase agreement, is it that, like, once we have everything installed, we'll be producing energy for ourselves, right? And then obviously we have to pay them a certain amount, it'll just remain the same consistently throughout the duration of the contract?
No, their rate is going to increase at about 3.5%.
Their rate is living.
Yeah, so we'll start at 18 cents and then from there it'll climb, but it'll go at a rate lower than historically SoCal Edison has. So it'll still, we'll be paying less initially, or well, less throughout, but instead of, okay, SoCal Edison's 50 cents and the power purchase agreement is, 18 cents. We're starting at a lower point and climbing at a lower rate versus.
Okay.
I want to say the total savings over the 20-year period was over $4 million or something like that. Total. I think it's about $100,000 per year.
Okay.
Alone, and then we can also have electric vehicle charging.
Yeah.
And we will be able to help provide that for employees that have a Tesla or electric vehicle.
As long as you're willing to pay us for your electricity to do that, yes.
Right, and will they allow us to set up that infrastructure?
Yes. Yeah.
Right, okay.
And then, there was something else I was going to say. Because there's a power purchase agreement, we aren't paying any capital costs. All of the construction and supply of material, that cost is solely on them. There's no out of pocket for the district
Sold.
for the construction phase of all of it, and DSA and all of those fund added on fees and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
So that's part of their deal, is for them to pay those costs and take care of the capital expenditure. And then
What does maintenance and cleaning look like?
maintenance and cleaning looks like, it's that, because they're the ones doing the installation and it's their property, so it is on them to do the maintenance and cleaning. It's not gonna be, stuff that we're gonna have our employees do, because frankly, they're not gonna want it. They being the luminous of, we paid to have this installed here, we want our people to work on it to make sure that, it stays up and running, because if it's not generating anything, they're not.
It benefits them to have it.
Yeah. The less it generates for them, the less money they're getting, so it's one of the incentives for them to make sure that it's up and running is they get money out of it.
And that's for the 20-year contract?
Yes.
And then beyond that 20 years?
Once it gets to the end of the contract, and then the conversation becomes, is there something that, like, in terms of energy efficiency, what will be better or more efficient at that point? Of, is it incumbent on us to keep this and keep it maintained, or transition to whatever solar plus is in 2040?
And would we have to then purchase the infrastructure from them?
We would at an amortized rate, so it would be, knowing that it's a infrastructure, that it would, be significantly reduced. At that point, buying 20-year-old equipment, so.
This is for 20.
Or, well, 25, but.
Okay.
If negotiations go.
I gotta go that much. Further talk. Okay, any further discussion? We'll have a motion to go and close.
I move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Noes, one absent. Student, he's got it at 8:19.
8:19.
Yeah, time,
8:19, we're back to 3.
change the regular session.
Did we go at 8:20?
8:12.
Oh, my God. 8:12, thank you.
Okay. D, approved resolution 25-26-09, making findings, authorizing and approving power purchase agreement and other associated agreements with Luminance, and authorizing execution and delivery of other documents and other actions required in connection therewith. Mr. Irving?
Alright, so this is a resolution to approve moving forward with, Luminous on this, power purchase agreement.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Okay, Mike, right?
I'll second.
Second, any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Aye.
Aye. 4, 0 nays, absent, and the student is absent. Motion passes 4-0. Okay, Edward, award bid to Spectrum for Southern Kern Unified School District high-speed data infrastructure project, E-rate funding, year 29, that's 2026, 2027. RFP number 2026-01, 470, number 26006510, board agenda December 10, 2025. Mr. Wexler?
We issued an E-rate RFP for our internet service provider. Our internet service provider is currently Spectrum. We received 4 bids. Spectrum was the clear winner. The cost is $173,000 a year. E-rate pays 90%, so our cost would be $17,000 a year. I recommend that we move forward and accept Spectrum's winning bid.
Now, is this just our regular Ethernet stuff that we're using now?
Yes,
It does not include any of the future infrastructure to move our,
oh, that's a great question. Yes, it does.
it does,
Yes,
okay, because we're gonna be moving our hub from Roseman Elementary to the high school,
correct.
and they'll cover.
Yeah,
they'll
that's,
cover that.
yeah, that's,
ISP will be the same. It's just,
That's why I just wanted to make sure that we were getting.
yeah, that's a great
bang for
question.
our buck.
I hear you. I hear you. I move to approve.
Move to approve? Right, any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote.
Aye.
4 ayes, unanimous. 0 nays, 1 absent, and the student is absent. Motion passes 4-0. Accept amendment number 3 to March 18, 2020, Program and Construction Management Services Contract between Southern Kern Unified School District and HPLE Inc., totaling $3 million, I'm sorry, $3,641,800. Yeah, we'll approve that. Can you get it through? Yeah. I was
The
trying.
doc must have moved.
It did. $3,642,051. Mr. Irving.
Alright, so this is an amendment to the master contract with HPLE. HPLE has been working with the district since 2020 with construction projects, starting with the RES Kinder buildings, the Tropico project over at West Park, cafeteria at the high school, all sorts of projects they've worked on this with. This amendment adjusts their rate for the West Park Elementary project as the scope has changed on that site with the added alternatives and change orders. And then it includes new projects at the Roseman High School CTE building, which we don't have an agreement for with them, as well as the retrofitting of the current locker rooms once the new ones are built to turn into, a new weight room and dance studio area, as well as the redesign of the foyer of the current gymnasium.
Any further discussion?
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second. Okay, no further discussion, call for a vote. Aye. Noes, 1 absent, student is absent. Motion passes 4-0. Next up, approve following personnel list of personnel items. I believe we have one change, we're gonna table.
Yes.
So we're gonna table Ed Moreno.
I move to approve with the
Okay.
The
With
change.
change, okay. All right.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, call for a vote.
Aye.
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 8-4, noes, absent.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got it. All in favor?
Aye.
8:25.
I'm still not done, everyone. Thank you.
Hey, I tried.
Nine? Good.
8:25.
8:25.
So on the, are you caught up on?
We do have students who can't afford it. And we want, we want to at least give them that opportunity. So, all right. No more, then we'll move on. Next up, second reading, review, and approval of September 2024 board policy. Mrs. Gaines?
Yes, sir, these are the same board policies that you saw last board meeting, that were informational at that time. Tonight, they're back as second reading, review, and also for you to take action on to accept these board policies. So, yeah.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Second.
Okay. What, okay. Motion by
Gutierrez,
Gutierrez,
seconded by Wright.
by Wright. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Hearing no no's, one absent, and the student is absent. Second interim report, Mr. Irving.
Alrighty.
I heard, please take half of this out.
Good evening, board, esteemed colleagues. Thanks for sticking around. This is a second intern for this year, so we'll get right to it. Okay, cool, it works. So, second intern report is looking at actuals up to date till January 31st, and then doing looking at that and then looking where we are this year and doing, the prognostications that go into where are we gonna wind up before the end of June. A lot of this work was done prior to settling with the RTA, so some of these numbers are no longer gonna be completely accurate as, settlement's been reached, but, we work with the information we have, so. As far as revenue, revised revenue is 70,514,103. This is a combination of both our unrestricted funds and restricted funds, but then Fund 1 or our general fund. Originally budgeted at the, back in June was 67.6 million. More than anticipated, which is, large in part, same as first intern, we already knew this was gonna happen. Our property taxes are higher than what was anticipated last June. And then the student support discretionary block grant, which wasn't a thing at the time, was created as part of the final state budget for last year. So it led to an increase in overall revenue. Sorry about that. Our unrestricted revenues are based off of our LCFF calculation, which takes into account our property taxes, our unduplicated counts, as well as our ADA. The restricted funds, to give more of a definition, are, funds that are either state or federal, that have specific use tied to them, generally of, you can only use, Title II for teacher professional development or certificate of professional development. You can only use CTIG money for things geared towards CPE programs, weirdly enough. So I didn't, instead of listing the laundry list of, restricted funds, there's the broad definition and a couple of examples. Our estimated ADA is 33,345.55. This is a little bit of a reduction from the first interim, but as enrollment has more or less held steady since then, and ADA still is increasing from prior years. It looks like it's going to happen at a slower rate, so I've revised estimates downward to make that adjustment and have it, instead of crossing my fingers and hoping that if I type a higher number that it will magically increase, our ADA and everything else. Overall, we're down 18 students from this time last year, which is not great, but it's not necessarily indicative of a major change. It's, there are plenty of other districts that are, seeing that number 10 times over, if not more. So I'm gonna knock on wood and hope that, we're seeing a minor plateau and it's not, the tip of the needle starting to go downwards, but we will, we'll know more with a little bit more time on that. This is a side-by-side first interim and second interim, where it's more or less the same in terms of total revenue. There's, with the decrease in ADA and enrollment, slight downturn in state LCFF revenue, but there's been a little bit more activity on federal revenue and other state revenue. So it's more or less at this point, comes out in the wash. Our expenditures are expected to increase both, just in terms of what's going on globally and things that are way outside of our control in this room of increase the, goods and services. But we've also, we've increased our classified employees a lot this year with both, growth of ELOP and additional paras. Salary and benefits make up 73.1 of total budgeted expenditures at this point. LCAP, our revised supplemental concentration for this year is $12,900,000, which is a slight decrease from first interim. And next year is projected to grow with, a little bit higher ADA and the expected COLA for next year. So it'll push it up to 13 million and change, but not a ton of difference there. There's a breakdown of expenditures, which is now from a little bit out of whack with having settled with RTA to get that percentage finalized, where there's been some downward revision in certificated salary, growth on classified salary as the year has progressed and the picture became more clear of positions of if they were going to be filled or if it's going to be more, substitutes filling in and that kind of thing, and just where the dust is settled at this point. And then, an increase, a little bit of an increase in services and operating expenditures and a larger increase in books and supplies, but So we are up overall in terms of expenditures, than we were at first interim. The multi-year projection, current year, so fiscal 25-26 is, our unrestricted are still LCFF and, for, property taxes and state revenues that I already rambled about earlier. COLA is 2.3%. Our ADA is projected to be 92.11%, which is an increase, 33.4555 is, that you've already seen. There's not a projection in there for salary increases outside of step and column. And then, there is a increase in contributions from unrestricted to restricted as bed costs have risen. And then like on the capital expenditure side, we have, projects that are falling off that, will help in the next, that are more or less one-time expenditures in that regard. Of it's not going to be continuously ongoing despite how it all feels, but it never seems to feel like it's going to be there. For subsequent years, so for 26, 27, and 27, 28, I have enrollment at this point increasing minimally, nothing too dramatic, with modest increases to ADA over the next 2 years of less than 1%. If this year is a bellwether for years to come, I want to again trying to keep things as tied to reality as possible, so that when we're all looking forward to see what do the next couple of years look like, that it's not too pie in the sky. Step column, standard baseline of 2 to 3 1/3%, depending on where they are. CPI is based off of the school services dashboard. Same with the cost for employee pensions, with just so that everything is based off of a standard number in those regards of school services. When they put their dartboard together, it's kind of, well, not kind of, it's one of the leading financial tools for the state of, okay, that way everybody is on the same page and can use the same economic data. Until we have a clearer picture of May revise, I have both state and federal categorical projected relatively flat. We'll find out if there's going to be another round of the student discretionary block grant or any other block grants that get added on or don't get added on once we get into May, and the legislatures had their opportunity to put forward bills they want to, or give more opinion on what they think of what the governor's January budget proposal is. And then as a continuing trend of increased contributions for the students with disabilities, it's just a cost that keeps increasing year after year after year. So this is where multi-year projection has our reserves going, or it's starting to look like, and as we wrap up projects, it'll get tighter, but we may be on the precipice of some sort, not some sort of, but potentially a structural deficit. But there's still, we have time to fine tune and figure out, okay, what are we charging to unrestricted funds that could be better used in other resources. So making sure that we're fully utilizing the categorical programs to the best of our abilities and within their compliance of how those funds could be used. So it's not necessarily canary in the coal mine, but it's it's a conversation that we're having of making sure we're utilizing all of our funds as appropriately as possible and still being able to maintain a 3% reserve, which is for a district our size, the state minimum. So we're hovering right above it if everything were to stay on track the way it's currently headed. Our other funds, so, you know, all the rest of that presentation focuses on, Fund One. This is where the rest of, the district's funds, are projected to be at the end of the year. So we have our, you know, adult ed, Fund 13 is our cafeteria fund, deferred maintenance, special reserves are underutilized funds that, you know, at this point are carrying mostly just interest payments, or, you know, collecting a, you know, cool 2% every quarter. Fund 21 is our, building fund, or the bond, measure H that passed, so that's, Fund 25 is capital facilities, so that's our developer fees from new construction, both, commercial and residential. And then, state facilities fund is, well, it's more building money, but directly from the state, this is what is funding most of the project over at West Park, so it's projected to just be zero because we're not, you know, once that project's done, we're not gonna be carrying a balance in there because we will have expended all of that money on the classrooms. And then Fund 40 is another special reserve for more capital outlay, but I don't know how far $65 is gonna get us at this point, so. But it is
Quick question for you, Robert. Can you go back to, and I understand it, I just want you to validate, I'm on the right page. Page 3 where it says revenue.
This one or one more thing?
One more back with the numbers. There we go. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, please. We ended the school year 24-25.
Dang it, I didn't update my slide. I needed a third revision. That should be 25-26 budgeted revenue, so July 1 of this year.
You caught it.
Almost, you're fired as my proofreader, it's going just straight to Barbara. Almost like I didn't sign up to be a proofreader, but, so I don't know if you can fire me if I quit. Yes,
I'll just say that,
okay,
stop now, I am breathing better,
okay.
so that's.
No, that's, yeah,
It
that was
happens,
my
it happens.
my
concern.
inability to proofread and,
Okay, sounds
okay.
good.
So
Thank
the
you.
computer
Thank you.
changed it on you, you didn't know it.
Yeah, we'll go with that, yeah, it didn't do what I was thinking it was gonna do. I thought we had one of the, I thought we had ThinkPad, Stan, sorry. But apparently that's not how those work.
So we have to take action.
Yeah, so the next thing would be, for you to take action on a positive certification and sorry. Glasses from one of the.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, sorry, but yeah, so let's see, any more questions? Or,
All right,
I will make a motion to approve second interim.
second by Wright. Any further discussion? Hearing none, vote?
Aye.
Aye. I don't hear any no's, one absent, and the student is absent. Passes 4-0. Public hearing on resolution to the Board of Trustees of Southern California Unified School District to consider a solar power purchase agreement. Irvin, Mr. Irvin, you're up.
alrighty, so, theoretically, we're supposed to open up the public hearing to talk about proposed, power purchase agreement, for solar throughout the district. Back in, I'm gonna say August, but it's been a minute, so maybe I'm wrong. Luminous, I was here to do a presentation of, proposed, projects at RES West Park, Tropical Middle School and the high school for solar that included, canopies in the parking lots and some other items, so. Yeah,
Okay, do I have a motion to go to open public hearing?
I will. Second.
Okay, any further discussion?
No, this
Okay,
is,
open, okay, how, no, I need a vote.
Oh.
All in favor? Hearing no no's, one absent, and the student's absent. Okay?
Now, my
Comments?
question. Yeah. Is this contract with Luminous?
Yes, it is.
This is the one that we had to revise their contract?
Yes, part of the length and between their presentation and tonight is going back and forth with their legal counsel and our legal counsel to, find language that both found appropriate, just to make sure that if we're going to move forward with a deal that is 20+ years long, that we haven't immediately tricked ourselves on the starting blocks because we, took a contract blindly and was like, yeah, this seems like it's good. If we weren't good, why would they give it to us? But yeah, so it's, back and forth, some real exciting Zoom meetings, to dive into the weeds and find out, verify, okay, what is, in your language, what do you mean by this and that? And just to verify that, okay, is this an appropriate contract for our district to enter into?
And they deem it to be so?
Yes, schools legal,
Well, I appreciate the due diligence personally, so. I mean,
If you just press pause, that's what it is.
No, you have to stop the recording.
Taxpayer and everything.